Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into episode 7 of Sundown Entertainment. I appreciate you guys coming in. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. I switched back to this mic today, guys. I think the other one was kind of mumbling my voice a little. I'm gonna have to figure that one out a little better. It's a condenser mic, so I don't think that that's good for podcast. Maybe it is for background noise purpose. Reason why I switched mics in the first place was this Blue Yeti, which is great. It picks up every single thing. So kind of had to just try something new out. Anyways, welcome in. I got a little something here from Michael Flynn. I know most of you guys know who he is. Um, Let me go ahead and share that with you. All right, there we go. So here's a little something from Michael Flynn. Hold on one second. Attention America says, where did the children go? In America's Future Special Exposed, where did the children go? Tara Lee Rhodes, Myra Monroe, Deborah White, and Carlos Avellino revealed disturbing first-hand accounts from inside the federal government's unoccupied or unaccompanied, my bad, sorry, learn to read, unaccompanied children. So I kind of wanted to check this out. I don't know that we'll listen to the whole thing, but just in case you want to, you can go to Michael Flynn's X page, and it's right on his X page. So you can go there and check it out. I just want to hear what he has to say on this.
You've seen the images. Millions of migrants, many being unaccompanied children, streaming across the United States southern border. Desperate families blend with criminals, having paid gangs and cartels for their transit. Through this criminal exploitation of innocence and the very policies of the U.S. immigration system, children remain the most vulnerable. America's Future now brings you stories from the front line, not bureaucrats, but everyday citizens and public servants demanding answers for all Americans, whose billions of taxpayer dollars have been spent on a broken system. Reunited for the first time, these 4 brave whistleblowers, 2 current federal employees and 2 from private government contractors, share stories of what they witnessed working around the Pomona Fairgrounds Migrant Intake Facility in 2021. The Southern California facility processed nearly 9,000 unaccompanied children over its 8-month operation.
I'm Tara Rodas, here in Washington, D.C. Behind me is the spirit of justice, with a child by her side. I've been a federal employee for more than 20 years. I was deployed to the Pomona Fair.
Well, sorry to stop that so soon, but we do know that they love symbolism, right? So the symbol of justice with a child. I mean, a lot of this stuff, unfortunately, there's so much about our history that someday we need to do like a 5-part, 10-part series or something showing the actuality behind it all. Because there is a lot of symbolism throughout the entire United States. And I know other people have covered it well, but I'd like to recover it myself, to be honest with you, because I really do believe we could use a little brush up on something like that.
In 2021, and I started off as a youth care worker, later promoted to the deputy of the federal case management team. Justice is vital to all Americans, especially to our children, who must be protected and defended from evil. That's why I'm proud as an HHS whistleblower to be joined today by brave public servants and insiders who are going to be coming forward.
One moment, guys. I got to make sure the sound's on. I guess I'm not hearing it on my end here. Hold on. Okay. Sound tab is on. All right, share. Okay, I just had to make sure it was on my end. Sorry, guys. It's just me running
for
the
the
show
first
here.
time to tell their full stories. Together, we will expose how the U.S. government put children into the hands of unvetted sponsors. Some are criminals and traffickers and members of transnational criminal organizations who sex traffic and labor traffic the children.
And a lot of these kids were lost as to where is it they were heading to.
So, Carlos, based on the email that you just shared with us, it's clear that the government knew that children were not going to the correct people.
Correct. My name's Carlos Arellano. I was an unaccompanied migrant escort across the United States. My job was to move children from point A to point B, and we used to move kids in the thousands per week.
MVM Inc., a private security contractor, was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract with the Department of Homeland Security in 2020, amounting to nearly $700 million.
And you keep telling them and you keep telling them and nothing is being done. It weighs very heavy, very heavy. My name is Mayra Moreno. I worked at the Pomona Fairgrounds for 6 months. I began working there as a case manager, then became a case manager lead with backgrounds and fingerprints.
Maxim Healthcare Services was contracted to manage the operations at the Pomona, California Immigration Intake Facility in April 2021 by Cherokee Federal. Cherokee Federal was awarded a nearly $900 million contract for these services.
We cannot continue to fund a program that has failed over and over again, year after year. How many times does this have to go before Congress? How many times does the Inspector General have to do a report? My name is Deborah White. I'm a federal employee for over 10 years. I was selected for a detail to the HHS Pomona Fairplex to assist with the undocumented children. I was selected because of my project management and contracting skills. I'm also a native Spanish speaker.
Could you guys tell me if you have sound on your end? For some reason, I guess I'm not having any sound. I don't know what's going on here.
We must ask ourselves, where did these children go? All right, so let's talk about what was our first day like.
When I was in orientation, it was a joke. I went with another case manager that was also starting that day with me. And when we go in there, it was just chaotic. Everybody was doing different things, getting pulled from different directions. There was no organization. And so
Hold on a minute, guys. I gotta pause this to see if I'm getting sound on this end. Are you guys getting sound on your end? Hold on 1 second.
I was like, what am I doing? How am I going to help? There was no proper training. So it was just very chaotic. My first day, my first experience there.
Yeah, so Tara, you're familiar with my first day because we've been together since the beginning. We took a photo arriving in California. We were very hopeful, very excited to come and, do good work. We thought, hey, regardless of where you lie on the political spectrum, it doesn't matter. We are here to help children, however you feel about the situation. There was no structure, no organization, which was very surprising to me because HHS has been doing this for a very long time. And I would think that they had already standard operating procedures to ensure, a smooth process, but it was
But they
not that
don't.
way. It was absolutely chaotic, and there was
Purposely
just a
done.
lot
You
of
don't
finger
lose
pointing. The
500,000
government
children out of nowhere for
blamed
nothing.
the contractor blamed the government for lack of guidance.
Yeah, so in 2021 is when you guys were all on Pomona, right?
Yeah.
So my first day dealing with Pomona is I showed up to California. You meet all these people you had never seen before, and everybody's talking. Everybody's like, "How long have you been here? How long have you been flying around with kids? How is it? What's your experience?" And then you start talking, and you find out that a lot of people sitting next to you that are now in charge of kids we're working in fast food, we're working in retail. So many areas that you're like, how are you ending up with children? They would tell you, I got hired yesterday. I got hired 2 days ago. I got hired last night, and they told me be ready this morning to fly out and head out to California. And you would tell yourself, I went through FBI fingerprints. I went through so many background checks that took months. And it's like, how are you letting people who don't know what they're doing, one, two, their backgrounds are not in yet, and they're about to have access to a child within 2 hours?
And they were always trying to come up with new crazy ideas of how to get something done. One of the more nefarious things I remember, maybe you'll remember this too, is when they were
Purposely.
trying to vaccinate the children.
Purposely done.
And the children did not want to be vaccinated. And they implemented Operation Deep Freeze so that they could give a popsicle to a child to get their vaccination.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yes, I do remember they were talking about that in the command center one morning about the success of it, because you have a child who's, hungry, thirsty, whatever it is, after a long journey. And the first thing that they do when they, come off that bus is go to that medical tent where basically they're trying to coerce the kid to get a COVID vaccination. And if they don't want to, like, they'll offer them a popsicle. Again, hungry, thirsty child, offer them a popsicle to get a shot.
Before you guys came in, I remember that one of the directors gathered all of the case managers and told us, come in because this is very important. And they said, please make sure that you're not sharing information because the feds are in the building and they're here to make deportations. So,
My goodness.
in the beginning, we were very like, why are you looking at my paperwork? Leave me alone. We were like, why? And then I remember because we were sitting by the American flags. So I used to sit all the way in the back, and then you came in the back. And I was like, why is the Fed behind us? What is going on? And I didn't know what was happening because they had told us, the feds are here in the building and they're here to deport the children. And so as case managers, we were very passionate. We wanted to reunify the children with their family members. So having you there at first, it was very nerve-wracking because we really didn't know what was going on, why you guys were there. So they instilled fear on the case management team. So after they said that, they said, that's why it's very important that we work through these cases and we get these kiddos out. We only had, I believe at first, it was something between maybe 16 to 18 days. Then that got cut to, I want to say 10 days. And then it was like a week to 8 days, no more than that. And you had to speed the process. You had to get the kids out before the feds would get them deported, especially your 17-year-olds.
Wow. So Cherokee Federal was saying, we need to move the kids faster, move faster, because of us.
Right.
That is stunning.
Right. And there were instances where case managers that were working in the morning had no idea what was going on with a certain case or cases that were happening at night, why those were being stalled because they were being red flagged. But they would say, here you go. You have an hour to get familiar with the case.
Sorry, guys,
and you got to present your case as to
I don't know
why
what's going on. I might have to
this
restart
kid
the
hasn't
stream.
left the facility. And so a lot of case managers would say, well, it's not my case. Well, now it is. It's assigned to you and you have an hour. You would go in front of Richard and the team. Richard Zapada was the one that was directing that facility there at the Pomona Fairplex. And so you would go in front of him and you can hear the yelling and the screaming, case managers coming out of the other building or across the room crying in tears because they had just been pretty much scolded in front of 50, 100 people.
Yeah, they would use shame tactics to try to get a case manager to process the child quickly through. And a lot of times, if there was a delay, it was because there was some red flag that came up. There was a reason for the delay. So this is why they were prioritizing speed over safety.
I might have to restart the stream, guys. I don't know what's going on here. Kind of bogus because I got to get off at 4. I got a video conference. I'm going to try to work it out on my end here and see what I can do. Hello. I don't know what's going on here, guys. Might have to restart the stream. Okay, I'm going to restart it and I'll be right back.